After 13 years of living, working, and studying in international environments, and more than 10 years of helping professionals speak English confidently, I've noticed one common pattern. Most people struggle to confidently express their thoughts, especially when speaking another language. And the main reason? Caring too much. This constant over-caring doesn't just make you feel tired mentally, it actively holds you back from succeeding in your personal and professional life. I know this because I've lived it. I've seen many professionals face this exact challenge, and I was stuck in the same cycle myself too. Not only in my native language, but also in my second and third language. But everything changed when I realized that it's not only about adding more or doing more, but it's also about letting go of the things that don't matter as much as I cared. In this video, I'll share 5 surprising things you're likely caring too much about that are stopping you from becoming a confident speaker. And I'm sure one of them will surprise you. I'll also explain how to break free from this cycle and start your confident journey the right way. So let's start. One of the things you need to stop caring about or overthinking is confidence. I know it sounds strange. To have more confidence, you need to stop caring too much about being confident. Well, here's why. According to the law of detachment, caring less about what you want often leads to making more of it. And that's true also when it comes to confidence. Have you ever seen that when you try so hard to do something, normally you get the opposite result? For example, if you want to force yourself to sleep, you just can't sleep. Or if someone tries really hard to speak to everyone and be liked by everyone, you get the feeling that they are not showing their true selves or they're not authentic, and you start to feel negatively towards them. It's exactly the same when it comes to confidence. If you try so hard to show you're confident, you can create a negative impact instead of a positive one. Remember, too much of anything can be bad. If you come across too confident, then people may also see that as arrogance and lack of respect for others, feeling like you only care about yourself. So it can make others feel negatively about you instead of creating a positive impact. So what should you do? The key is to keep the right balance. Imagine confidence like a butterfly. If you keep chasing this butterfly desperately to grab it, or try to hold on to it too tightly, you'll scare it away, or worse, crush it. What you need to do is create a balanced environment, like a beautiful open garden, and then the butterfly will come to you naturally. Now, here's the thing. To grow that garden, you need to plant some flowers and take care of it. And that's all the efforts that you make to grow your confidence. But you also need to remove the weeds that stop the growth of the flowers. By keeping the right balance between caring about the right things and caring less about the wrong things, you can create that beautiful garden that attracts the butterflies naturally. This brings us to the next thing that you need to stop caring about, and that's other people's opinion. This is something most people experience in many areas of their lives, and it comes from human evolution. Historically, to survive, we needed to belong to a community for access to food and safe place to live. If others didn't think well of you, it could affect your survival. This is why our brains are wired to connect others' opinions with our sense of safety. However, in today's world, someone else's opinion doesn't have the same life or death impact as it did in the past. So if we are not conscious of our mind, the automatic reaction is to care too much about what others think of us. I remember when I was in the U.S., I wasn't expressing myself very much because I was afraid of the native speakers, and I would think, what if I say something wrong? What if they laugh at me? What if I make a mistake? And all these thoughts made me stop myself from speaking. Some may think that this is because of not knowing the language really well. That was the case for me when I was in Italy with my Italian language. But with English, I already had a good level of English. And even with my first language, I didn't have any problems with the language itself. So I realized that this is more of a mindset problem. Fearing others' judgment is very common. But when you're speaking a different language, this fear of judgment turns into fear of speaking the language, the pronunciation, the accent, and many things that are related to the language itself. So you think that it's only the language that is the problem. So you start only working on your language skills, but never see the problem go away. Why? Because you need to solve the real problem. You need to first solve it in your mind. If you don't have a good language level, practicing to care less about others' opinion will help you practice speaking more and more, so you can improve your language much faster. And if you already have a good enough language skills, practicing to care less about others' opinion can help you work on your fluency, confidence, and effective communication more and more. In a previous video, we talked about how only speaking a language isn't enough for successful international experiences. There are 3 different layers to it, and the final 2 levels are even more important than just speaking the language. I talk about this more in this video. You can find the link in the description too. So how can you change this? Because you can't just stop people from judging you. That's something that will always happen. What you really can change is your mindset and perspective. As Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Think of it like looking at a building. If you view it from the top or the right or left, each perspective will show you something different. The same is true about how you see other people's opinions. Instead of focusing on what others think as something that is very important, think about what is the cost of not expressing yourself. Ask yourself which is a bigger loss, someone else's opinion about you or the opportunities you miss when you let others' judgments stop you from expressing yourself. When you care too much about what others think, you're not just giving up your voice, you're giving up on all the possibilities your ideas could create. You're closing the doors to valuable connections, opportunities, and growth simply because you're afraid to show who you really are. As a result, you can't excel in your personal or professional life if you're constantly worrying about others' opinion. The next thing you need to care less about is others' path. But what do I mean by that? Simply put, stop comparing your journey, life, and progress with others. I used to be a competitive swimmer, and one of the first things that I had to learn was never look at how far others are going and just focus on your energy and doing your best. This isn't just about sports. It applies to life and any form of success. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you're taking your eyes off of your own goals and energy. Knowing this is the first step, but that doesn't mean it's easy to do it. Although I know this, I have to say that sometimes it happens to me that I also lose my focus and start to compare myself with others. And that's exactly when I start feeling less motivated and stuck in my journey. Whether your goal is to improve a specific skill like learning a new language, or to achieve other life goals, it's important to stop comparing your progress to others, because this comparison can distract you and take away the energy that you need to focus on your own progress. Think of it like a magnifying glass. When the sunlight passes through the glass, It focuses all the energy on a spot. And because the energy is concentrated in one place, it becomes powerful enough to burn a piece of paper. This is exactly the same as when you focus on your own work and life. And with enough focus, you can achieve much more than you thought possible. But for some people, comparison can be a good thing because it can motivate them to achieve more. And if you're a competitive person like me, your mind works naturally like this. And in that case, here's what you can do. If you want to motivate yourself with competition and grow your confidence at the same time, compare yourself to older versions of yourself. Look at your own starting point and notice how far you've come. Reflect on the progress you've made and the improvements you've achieved. Now, let's get to the fourth thing you need to care less about, and that's perfection. Confident people aren't perfect. In fact, confident people know their weaknesses and feel okay with not being perfect. They know that nothing in life is perfect, so they don't aim for perfection. When it comes to speaking confidently, seeking perfections can slow you down or even stop you from improving. If you're learning a language, you may come across a lot of videos online that promote the idea of sounding like a native speaker or being like a native speaker. As we mentioned before, it's all about finding the right balance. It's great to learn all the expressions native speakers use or the correct pronunciations. But when it becomes all the focus and too much that becomes the goal, then it starts to have negative impact on your language learning journey. Why? Because you get stuck in your head and you start to overthink everything you want to say. And it can lead to developing the fear of making mistakes. And mistakes are essential parts of your learning and improving any skills in life, including your language skills. So what should you do instead? Well, it depends on your goals. Do you want to improve this language to prepare for an exam? Or do you want to use this language for real life international experiences? On this channel, we talk about life abroad and skills essential for successful international experiences for professionals, such as speaking confidently and effective communication. We do this with a holistic approach, meaning we look at the big picture, considering the mental, emotional, physical, and all aspects of your language journey. If that's your goal and you want to receive the full roadmap for speaking English confidently, you can check the link in the description and see the full training. So let's get to the final thing that you need to care less about: having an immediate result. When we expect quick results, we often feel frustrated and disappointed if things don't happen fast enough. This impatience can make us feel like giving up before we even make real progress. So we need to be a bit realistic and let go of the idea that confidence happens overnight. Building confidence, especially in speaking, is a process, not a quick fix. Think of it like planting a tree. You can't expect to plant a seed today and then see a very tall tree the next day. It needs time, care, and patience to grow strong. The same goes for your confidence. Every small step you take, like speaking up in a meeting, practicing with a friend, or even just trying a few sentences in a new language, is helping you grow. It might not feel like a big moment at the beginning, but over time, all those little efforts add up. Remember, being patient with yourself doesn't mean you're slow. It means you're smart enough to know that real progress takes time. So trust the process and enjoy the journey of learning and growing. In this way, you will see results that last for a lifetime. So here were the 5 things we needed to let go of to build confidence. Let me know in the comments section which one was your favorite point. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.